Hello everybody and welcome to this video. So this video is the fourth video in a series of videos showing how to conduct and complete a statistical investigation. So I have 3 videos already. The first one showing how to write your statistical investigation question and survey question. The second one showing how to collect data and organize it in a frequency table. And the third one showing how to identify your data type and select the most suitable graph for your data. So in this video, I'm going to show you 2 examples of how to plot your data using Excel. So the first example is going to be a bar graph, which is also known as a column graph. And the second example is a histogram. So let's go on to the Excel. I'll end this and bring up the Excel spreadsheet. So over here, I have my data typed in already. So what you need for your bar chart or column graph is your options, the options that you gave in your survey question. So my options are soccer, basketball, rugby, swimming, and other. And the frequency, the number of people that chose each of the options. You can get this data directly from your frequency table. Okay, so once you have typed in your data and the frequency, you select them. So make sure you're not selecting empty space. Okay, you can't have empty space in your data selection. So once you've selected, go to Insert and click on Recommended Chart. So the reason you're using the recommended chart is the recommended chart always brings out a column graph. So you have the vertical column graph and you also have the horizontal column graph. Okay, I will advise that you go with the vertical column graph because you have no experience yet analyzing column graph. So it's easier to analyze your graph when they are vertical than when they are horizontal. Okay, so click on the first one, which is the vertical column graph, and it will get inserted into your spreadsheet. Your job is not done. So the next thing for you to do is to label the axis. Okay, you need to label the axis. So depending on if you're using a MacBook or a Windows laptop, for Windows laptop, you can right click because what you're looking for is what we call the axis. Okay, over here, I'm using a MacBook and I'll just go to the tab on top, click on the tab and you see axis title. Okay, so I'll click on the first one, the primary horizontal. So that allows me to label the type of data that I am investigating. So I'm investigating sports. Okay, so I can write sport there or type of sport. So I'm just going to simply write sport and I'll go back and click again, go to the vertical. So the vertical axis allows me to label the frequency. Okay, so you might need to delete what is there to be able to type in the name there. So I have frequency, and once you've done the labeling for the both axes, you can then title the chart. Okay, so the chart title, if you're unsure how to title a chart, you can just use your survey question. Okay, my survey is about the favorite sport, so I can just say you're a student, favorite sports. Yeah, and that's it. All right, so once you've done all of this, you can then copy it onto your workbook assignment. Okay, so this is for categorical data. All right, now if you have a numerical data, remember your numerical data is in number form. So for example, this is data on the number of hours students spend on homework. Okay, what you need to plot a histogram, which is the most appropriate graph for a continuous numerical data like this, is your raw data. Not the data that you organized in a frequency table, no. The data that you collected in the raw format. Okay, so I've typed in the data here. What you need actually is the time, the data itself. All right, so you select the data itself without the person ID. Select the data again, make sure you're not selecting empty space. Select the data, click on insert. This time around, do not go to recommended charts, because the recommended chart, the type of histogram it brings out has a line on top of it. We don't want that one, the Pareto. Okay, so don't use the recommended charts this time. Go to statistics or statistical. Click on it and you find the histogram. So choose it and it will get inserted. There are a number of things you can do to beautify your histogram. First of all, let's label. Okay, let's label the histogram. So the chart title is time spent on homework. Okay, the time spent on homework. Now I have to label the X and Y axis, that is the horizontal and the vertical axis. So because I'm using a MacBook, I don't have to right click. I can just go on here, click on it, axis title. Horizontal axis is where I label what the data is. The data is time in hours. All right, and then go back so I can label the vertical axis. The vertical axis is where I type in the frequency. Okay, so we need to delete what is there to type in frequency. All right, so now you can see my histogram has only 3 bars there. You can actually increase the number of bars that your histogram have. Okay, so to increase the number of graph, select it or click on it and click on here where you have the numbers at the bottom. Okay, right click. So right click if you're using Windows laptop. Okay, so right click and then you will see format axis. You see format axis. Because I'm using a MacBook, I need to click here in addition, but for those using a Windows, you don't have to click again here. So what I'm looking for is bin width. All right, so you will see bin width, and I'm going to increase the width to 2. In other words, I need the bars in intervals of 2 hours. That's what it means. Okay, intervals of 2 hours. All right, so the first bar shows 0 to less than 2 hours, and then the second one shows from 2 to less than 4 hours, and on like that. Okay, so now that I've increased the number of bars the way I want it, you can then copy and paste onto your assignment workbook. All right, so I hope you understand how to do the plot for the 2 types of data, column graph as well as histogram. So if you choose the other types of graph, meet your teacher and your teacher will show you how to plot those ones. Otherwise, you watch out for the next video where I will show how to do the plots for the other types of graph. So thanks for watching, and I hope you can complete that part of your assignment now. Bye.